You are now listening to the Friends of Rugby podcast. Relax your anus. Balls. Thick thighs. Camille Shat. Where's his neck? Eddie Jones. You're fucked, mate.
And we are
We're
recording.
nice now.
Welcome.
Welcome to the Friends of Rugby. Sorry, I'm trying to eat carrot cake.
There you are. Do a good job. Want me to take over the duties?
Welcome to
No, you got it.
the saddest rugby podcast.
Ah,
The most depressed rugby podcast.
not really. If
The weakest rugby podcast in the world.
you merely adopted the sadness, I was born in it.
Man, rugby's ruined.
No, we got Super Saturday coming up now.
There's nothing to look forward to anymore.
That's how I felt for a long time.
I feel like this is how you felt.
Yeah.
This is this feeling that's going on
It's just
inside
like
me.
it's irrelevant. It's like, yeah, who
This
cares?
is how you feel. Like I feel numb.
I know.
I just feel like everything's ruined.
I tried to explain it to you, but you were too upset about whoever you were cheering for at the time.
I was so sorry all this time.
Yeah.
All these losses.
Why don't you just pivot to being a French fan? Life is good. Be easy. You just buy it. You've got a French jersey.
They don't have if they were going for a Grand Slam,
Yeah.
I would be.
I'd be on that French bandwagon if that was the case. Yeah.
If it was kind of Cinderella, like they came in and they're like, oh yeah, let's do
Yeah.
this. Yeah, I'd be on board. I'd be like, okay, I feel like a year you don't get a Six Nations Grand Slam is just like it's not a good year.
That's why the Super Saturday is important, because Super Saturday is like the consolation prize for no one getting a Grand Slam. At least the last weekend is wide open and every game is important. The 2014 or 15 Super Saturday was one of the greatest days of rugby ever because no one won a Grand Slam, but every game was mental. This is what we're setting ourselves up for.
Everyone was a winner.
No, they weren't. I think Ireland did it in the end. They won on points.
I want a Grand Slam
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah, I did kind of want an Irish Grand Slam. It would have been fun.
It just shows how hard it is.
It is hard.
It's hard.
It really is. That's a good point. Like, when you talk about winning successive Six Nations titles, and everyone's like, this is going to be the record-breaking one, Ireland are a well-oiled machine. This is not fucking easy.
It is not, and it's just sad. I'm just sad right now.
Who are you most sad for?
Myself. I feel like I got roofied last night. So
Do you want to talk about that? Sounds important to talk about.
yeah, we went to a fundraiser at the bar
Yeah.
last night at 8:00
Yeah.
at night,
Yeah, I know.
which was already struggling. I was struggling.
That's why I left at 9. I was tired.
Yeah, but I kept leaving my drink around,
Yeah.
and I just feel like ultra drowsy and tired. I slept like 9 hours.
How many did you drink?
I had half a bottle of wine at dinner, and then right after I had only 2 beers.
We're old, though. It's a lot to drink. Sounds like someone put some weed in your drink.
No, I could be strong.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah.
that's how I feel.
Is that why you're sad, or is you sad because of rugby
I'm
reasons?
sad because of the rugby.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, I've been sad for years.
I don't give a fuck if I got roofied or not. I care about the rugby.
Where do you want to start with it?
Well, let's start with the first game of the week.
The biggest game.
Well, we just finished watching England, Italy.
Yeah. Let's talk about that later.
Let's bring it up right now. Let's get it out of the way because
All right.
that is kind of like.
First,
Can we have it? Can we just have it like where Italy's just like not a letdown all the time?
they were good for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes generously. And then I think there's one point that I've seen a lot of people making, that they're finally seeing England doing what they've been trying to do in their attack for a while. Fine, but Italy's defense is awful.
I
As
feel
soon
like
as they stop trying, you can just walk tries in.
I feel like defense this whole Six Nations for all the teams has been kind of fucking shocking at moments.
It's been inconsistent.
Every team has had a very shocking game in defense.
Yeah. there's been some. I think everyone's had a bit of a kick in, except England. Maybe. I don't think England have had a kick in off anyone.
I don't think so. I think everything's kind of been close.
Yeah, for England.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but there's still some like high scores. Like we haven't. I think there's only been a couple games that have been really chess matchy. Like
yeah, we haven't seen any like 10, 12 real arm wrestle game. Maybe I think those days might be done. We're in the era of attacking rugby now, which might be a good thing.
in the era of Super Rugby.
Yeah, it did have Super Rugby feelings.
Yes, it does. It has felt very Super Rugby-ish. Not even close though. Like not the flair.
No. We're still 30 or 40 points behind an average game of Super Rugby.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely a lot. It's nice to see tries in the England-Italy game. It was nice to see tries. It's nice to see Marcus Smith getting to attack in space. Thought Italy were good. They run some good lines. Capozzo was really good. But
I feel like this Six Nations is going to be the one that's going to have the most tries scored.
It's already up there. I think it's already up there.
Is it?
It's not. I don't think it's the
one. It feels like
one.
that. It has to be that.
I'd
be surprised if this year is not the year where the most tries have been scored in the Six Nations.
Well, I'll have to Google it. I think across the board, like
I'm just talking Six Nations.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's not one team doing it. Every team is scoring a lot of tries now. Yeah.
So even Italy
have been scoring tries.
They've been scoring tries.
Yeah, they have. They absolutely have.
Slotting them all over the place.
Not fucking enough to win though, unless it's against Wales.
But this England-Italy game was just pretty much just typical.
Exactly how I predicted.
Yeah.
They'll stay in the game for a bit.
Close your eyes, audience.
Yeah.
Take a breath in.
Imagine a scoreline.
Imagine a scoreline.
One is blue, one is white.
Now open your eyes. Look at the real score.
How did he do it? How did he do that?
That's exactly what I thought.
No, seriously, how did you do that?
And that's how it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the
scoreline for anyone who hasn't watched it. 47-24 to England. 24 sounds good. But then Italy needed a bonus point, and it was getting loose at the end there. They needed that last try. They really needed it, and they just couldn't muster it.
Nope.
And they just got turned over and scored on by England right at the death there again.
Yeah, the fuckers.
Like, help me here, you know? Help me understand Italy. Like,
and that's all I want to talk about with that game. Let's go into the Ireland-France game.
Okay.
Fuck, France is just better.
Yeah, that's definitely one takeaway. They're a very good rugby team, yeah.
45 minutes into this game,
yeah.
After the Sheehan try,
yeah,
DuPont goes off.
Yeah.
I'm zero doubts in my mind. Zero thoughts. Ireland are losing this game.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Sheehan's got to try. What was it? They were up by like 6 points. DuPont just got injured. He's going off.
I thought you said... So you're saying you knew Ireland were going to win at that point?
Yeah.
Okay.
45 minutes into this game.
Yeah.
Confident.
Yeah.
There's no way this game could go downhill now.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
They really opened. France have this ability. At some point, if you take your foot off the gas, France will run in 3 or 4 tries now. It's becoming a thing. It's becoming the new thing in rugby. If you let, a lot of other teams, if you let up, they'll get back into the game. They'll get their nose ahead by 3, 6, 7 points. If you take your foot off the gas a little bit against France, they will very quickly run in 3 or 4 tries. They actually remind me of New Zealand. It reminds me of a lot of New Zealand games where they're tight and close. As soon as you get a bit sloppy or tired, New Zealand will take you to pieces. France is starting to look like that.
They did. They took advantage of any kind of mistake Ireland made.
Yeah.
They took advantage of it.
They're ruthlessly efficient with their time on the ball, aren't they?
Their pressure is immense.
And they have something that New Zealand don't. A physicality I've not seen from a team since golden era Springboks, where they have just got massive men running at you, knocking you over like bowling pins. And that combo, the forwards getting you over the gain line and absolutely fucking electric backs. I don't know how you beat that. Well, England fucking did, so, someone can.
Yeah. With the worst team.
Yeah, objectively, I think. Yeah. I
was just sad. I was just... this was the game... this was Peter Romani's last game, Cian Healy's last game, Conor Murray's last game.
They deserved
in Ireland,
it better, didn't
in
they?
the green jersey.
Yeah.
The emotion, the passion.
Yeah.
This game was theirs. Everyone talked France is a good team.
Yeah.
I didn't think that they were necessarily a better team. Like this is a team that lost to fucking England.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And I think England is kind of like a mid team right now, right? They're good, but they're not great.
They're objectively not as good as Ireland right now.
And they can lose.
Yeah.
They can lose to anyone, right?
Yeah.
I thought these two teams aren't losing to anyone.
Yeah.
But I didn't see Ireland losing this game at all. It was arrogant.
I agree. I thought I wouldn't have been so confident, but I thought in Dublin with all these narratives going on, like 3 very good, serious players last games. The emotion's going to be high. You can still win a Grand Slam. France can't. So you've got that on your side. You've got that momentum. All the little extra pieces outside of the 2 sheet teams on paper were in Ireland's favour, right?
Man, even the Six Nations in general this year was in Ireland's favour.
It was.
They had England, the 2 hardest teams, England and France at home.
They did a good draw this year. Yeah.
Everything was set up for them.
Yeah.
They generally had a good, healthy scratch.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of people were like, "Oh, James Lowe and Hansen being injured was a big blow."
It was though.
Ringrose, I think the biggest one was Gary Ringrose. Probably was a big blow. But putting Hench on Aki there too, that's not much of a drop off.
I do think the wing is a drop off actually.
James Lowe with his get out of jail free kick, his boot,
and just him popping up everywhere. Losing James Lowe is a big deal. But you would say losing Dupont's a big deal. That France didn't care.
Yeah, I just don't see yeah. But these the wingers, James Lowe does have a good big impact on the game.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have a massive impact.
Yeah. He always has 2 or 3 big moments in a game which feel like momentum shifts. But and they did miss that. But you can't rely on one player. Felt like Calvin Nash. He's got surprised. He got a surprise start. Yeah.
Like, hey, bud, here's your chance to take it. He was out of position in a lot of plays.
Yeah, he was.
He got caught with his pants down all over the place.
I have noticed when Ireland don't go so well, it is because their game plan gets troubled early on. So I remember when they lost to England, they had to reposition a couple of guys very early on, and you could tell they just weren't. They can be a bit rigid, and once that rigidity breaks a bit, they look a bit frail. And
I thought that they were going to be more solidified because the previous game they had with Wales, they got taken to the edge.
They got shocked, didn't they?
Yeah, and they were able to climb out of it.
Yes.
And still get a win.
Yeah.
So their game plan was really disrupted.
Yeah.
By Wales. Wales just came in with a really specific game plan for them, and they were able to climb it. So I thought whatever France was going to be able to throw at them, they would be able to work around, but they just couldn't. They were just. The French just ended up just being more powerful.
It was a power game,
and their pressure, they just kept the pressure on Ireland, and they just Ireland just kept making mistakes from it. There's just this. This is a game that you just, France you can't put any kind of blame on anyone or anything except for the only person to blame for this game is France being better.
France were really impressive.
Yeah.
It's hard to look past that. And it's you can talk about shapes and gameplay style. Ultimately, rugby is about forwards winning the game and the backs decided by how much. We really saw that, didn't we? France outmuscled Ireland and their backs are very fucking good. I think a couple more positives about France, Maxime Lucu, at times was better than Dupont because he followed a French system more obvious. What I mean is Dupont is people will just kind of play around Dupont, let him do his thing, we'll follow him into contact, we'll follow him into a line pass or whatever. Lucu looked like he slotted into a French game plan really effectively. He was passing from the base of a ruck, whereas Dupont rarely passes from the floor, does he? Picks up the ball, wanders around a bit. I'm surprised people don't smoke him as much as they do. But when you got that good forwards, you do have a good platform. Anyway, Lucu was very good, and he's 32, so I don't know if he's going to another World Cup, but he's a very good replacement and an experienced player. Yeah,
I felt like they almost didn't miss Dupont at all. They got better. I thought they got better after Dupont went off.
Yeah,
the French got better.
They did. They literally
it's
did.
Almost like they
literally did. Yeah.
I feel like they were like, "Fuck, Dupont's gone. Okay, guys, we have to step up now. We have to actually play.
We can't just rely on this one guy. Yeah,
it's like they had a wake up call. Like, hey, we gotta fucking all pick up our bootstraps here.
Yeah.
Right. Is Dupont holding French back.
I'm not. I don't want to
because
take.
they just kind of all came out of it like, okay, we got to do something now because you can't rely on Dupont for like his fucking 19 points he's worth per game, right?
And thus, the man of the match, BLBRA, he's like maybe under the radar, becoming the main character of France in the last few games. I thought Motherfucker Jones had a good game as well. Motherfucker Jones. Malvaca.
Malvaca is a fucking. He's
a monster, isn't he? Yeah. Like, he's insane. Yeah.
There was just, the whole game. I was just like, "Fuck Ireland!" Like, come on! Like, you said it at the beginning of the game when Joe McCarthy took that unnecessary yellow,
brain dead.
Like the brain, like it killed. You're like, that could be a momentum killer.
It was,
and you were talking about that right when that happened. Like, this could change the game.
Yeah,
this could really and it did.
Yeah, it did.
From there.
Yeah,
I thought,
because Ireland looked very good in about first 20 minutes. They looked strong and in control, and they had a lot of the ball, right? And McCarthy's mistake was it was the kind of thing you see on a summer tour when everything's a bit loose. You're about to win a Grand Slam. You should be razor sharp focus going into that game. And it was we weren't even looking at that. They called it back, and I thought it was a bit of a late hit on the ball carrier. And then the camera pans over, and you see Joe McCarthy deliberately taking someone out who's nowhere near the fucking ball.
Yeah,
it was the stupidest thing I've seen.
Because I thought the ref was calling obstruction on the kick chaser.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, I got mad because I was like, oh, you're gonna call finally this game. A ref is actually gonna call this.
Yeah,
because this happens every time.
Yeah,
and no one ever calls it. So I was like, fuck. And then all of a sudden the camera pans back, and there's Joel McCarthy
being a greasy fucker,
creepy hands going all over Ramos.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh,
dumb, stupid shit, stupid. And the emotion of the occasion is, and the reason I pointed that out was because Sam Prendergast was getting some hate, right? You cannot blame Sam Prendergast for that game because there was enough stupid mistakes that were deliberate. Like that Joe McCarthy was a deliberate mistake, right? Like, I know mistake and deliberate is kind of an oxymoron, but it wasn't like a split second accidentally off his foot. He fouled someone off the ball. It was stupid, right? That's way more easy to blame the loss for than anything Prendergast did,
The most hurtful was the Calvin Nash yellow card.
Yeah.
That was a hurtful fucking yellow. That they took fucking 14 they took 17 points.
Yeah, in that time frame. They made the most of it, didn't they?
That's 17 points they fucking gobbled up on that fucking yellow card. They did not need that.
No, they didn't. and it was weird because usually when you see a forward get yellowed, the opposition will try and bash the door down. France maybe it was intelligent, but maybe it's common sense. They got the ball out wide very quickly and into space. You're missing a winger against France. Even you've got Peno, BLBRE running at you like,
arguably the best wingers in the world.
Yes,
the arguably the most resourceful wingers.
They do not waste a step, do they? They do not waste a step of pace or timing or
just bad. I really didn't like that Calvin Nash that card either. I thought that was a little because you guys, when we were watching that, Calvin Nash is kind of stationary. He bends down at the hips, and I forget the player that goes into him, and he goes down. They have a face-on-face contact.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, that's a fucking penalty, whatever. I thought that was just kind of just a bad situation that happened.
Yeah, it could be a weak yellow, right?
Robbie Henshaw, I thought it was Robbie Henshaw. Just comes in from the side, and just throws his shoulder right into.
That was objectively worse and was overlooked.
Yeah, it was overlooked.
And the point is not that Ireland got the hard done by, but the refereeing is wildly inconsistent.
Yeah,
in the same incident.
Yeah, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, okay, there's a card there for sure.
Yeah.
There's a card there for sure. Yeah. Calvin Nash shouldn't have got that card. It should have been Robbie Henshaw.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was Robbie Henshaw that went into the tackle afterwards.
I think it was, yeah.
And I was just, I was like, what the fuck? The Peter Armani thing, him getting taken out of the play.
And I
was beside myself on that call.
I'm with you on that one. That was egregious.
He could have been open for a tackle. He could have been in the
that
play.
He was retreating is not a reason not to give that. He was taken out of the ball. He couldn't make a tackle, right? He was on the fucking floor. That is objectively a penalty against France.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's I think it's just an Angus Gardner thing.
Yeah, you've mentioned that.
He is just a very inconsistent ref. He is just what he calls, what he looks at, the decisions he makes are kind of all. He's a wild fucking. He's a maverick. Yeah. He's like the Finn Russell of fucking refs because you don't know what he's calling. You don't know what he's doing unless he's because I have a problem with Agnes Gardner. I kind of dislike him as a ref. Mostly if you ever when he's reffing New Zealand.
Yeah.
Seems like he just lets fucking anything go with those guys.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy fuck, come on, man. Like, just call something here.
Yeah. I have felt the same about Ben O'Keefe, to be honest, at times.
Oh, Ben O'Keefe too, yeah.
I have felt the same.
He's a guy that those two, like Ben O'Keefe too, he'll let shit fucking...
For the sake of game flow.
He's got too much Super Rugby in him. Just let the boys play.
That's what we're hinting at, isn't
guys,
it?
we've got a game here. We can't just let everything go.
And we're going to talk about this in the Scotland-Wales game a bit, but I think the problem I'm seeing, and I'm not actually blaming the refs for this one, I think we've introduced far too many rules or changed too many rules in too short a space of time so that what the refs are trying to do is focus on one thing because it's brand new and shiny and they've been drilled on seeing it and forgetting several other rules that have been in place for a long time. And this is not their fault. They're trying. It's not possible to consistently referee at a game of rugby right now. You need two refs on the field.
Yeah.
That would slow things down.
I would... I've said this before a while back too, that like if you're going to enjoy rugby, when you get into rugby, you have to understand the ref is a variable in the game too.
Yeah, they are.
And every ref kind of refs a little different.
And a good team adapts to it, don't they?
And a good team adapts to it. Yeah. But the thing with like Ben O'Keefe or Agnes Gardner, is they are just fucking wild cards. Like, I don't know how you're supposed to play to these guys because they are literally like all over the place on what they will call and what they won't call. Like, I don't know. You could probably look at their call stats and see where they really target areas in the game.
Yeah. And that's kind of the problem, though, isn't it? That you have to figure out where the ref has really been focusing. What was his PowerPoint presentation on yesterday? Was it the ruck? Was it the scrum? Was it obstruction?
Yeah. Because it's just wild.
Yeah.
And I bet you the sad thing is too, if I want to look up that information, if I want to find like where these guys are making their most calls, what they're calling the most, good luck trying to find that.
Yeah, I don't even think it's recorded. I don't think it's a conspiracy.
Oh, it's recorded somewhere. They have it somewhere, but good luck trying to find that information.
Yeah, there's just not enough resources for some guy to make that information available and digestible, is there?
I had to go to Reddit because I wanted to know Ireland's win record with Agnes Gardner.
Yeah.
Reffing.
Yeah.
So I was looking all over the internet and I'm like, fuck it. So I had to go to Reddit.
Yeah.
And someone broke it down. Someone eventually broke it down. But this guy had to like go through the games.
Yeah.
And look.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, holy fuck. Like this guy couldn't Google too. He actually went through the games, found the games that he repped, right? So there's 7.
Okay.
So with under Agnes Gardner, Ireland have won 2 games and lost 5 games over the years.
Maybe they were shit in those 2 games.
So, well, they've only...
Sorry, 5 games.
In those 5 games.
Yeah.
So
that's a bit of a...
I was like, oh, that's a very interesting... Like,
I'm with you to a point, but at that point, it's like, that doesn't tell me anything about the game. They might have just been beaten by a better team. In fact...
They could have, but still. I was like...
Ireland don't deserve 100% win rate, do they? No one's entitled to it.
No.
You know?
That's not the argument I'm trying to make.
But if it was 100% loss against Angus Gardner during their period of very good rugby, then I'd be like, okay, that's a bit suspicious.
But it's a 2 and
5 isn't egregious.
So basically, that is the majority of all their losses since 2000, because they've only lost like a fucking handful of games.
What, since when though?
2016.
But wasn't one of those losses against Japan in 2015 where they lost a few more?
That was 2019.
Was that 2019? Oh, it was. Yeah.
So they're getting into you're in the era where Ireland were only losing 1 or 2 games a year, right? And the majority of them have come under Agnes Gardner.
Conspiracy confirmed.
Yeah,
you heard it here first.
So there it is.
I
was like, oh, that's very interesting. I was like, look at that. So
yeah,
they are in their dominant era.
Yeah.
In their diva era, in their brat era, Agnes Gardner has been like the guy with most that has been the reffing when most of their losses. I was like, this is interesting.
You're either gonna blow this thing wide open or cop a lot of hate from people now.
Yeah, that's true. That's fine. But I just thought it was interesting. But like you said, there's a lot of factors that goes into a loss.
Yeah,
right. It just happens that Agnes Gardner happens to be there too.
Maybe it's time.
Every time someone gets murdered, there's Agnes Gardner in the corner, and he happens to be holding a gun.
No smoke without fire, Angus.
He happens to be holding the gun. Yeah. Right? But you never know,
Every team has a ref they don't like, right? Maybe it's just Ireland's time to have a ref
Who's
they
the
don't.
Welsh? What do the Welsh hate? Who's the Welsh?
Well, I tell you who we liked was a guy called Steve Walsh, who was an Australian ref. When we pumped England 30-3. And our scrum, it was because our scrum, we were just mincing the scrum. But Steve Walsh would just blow his whistle if England looked at him funny. And we just had a million penalties, and and England hated him. Because every time Steve Walsh would referee England, after that, it just felt like he was like, what the fuck did you say? All right, penalty against you. Did you look at me? Penalty against you.
He just straight up hated the English.
Yeah.
I would say the English probably have a lot of refs they hate.
That's true. That's true, yeah.
Because there's probably a notion where, a lot of refs do hate England. Right, and I would be surprised if there's some refs out there that just legit hate England.
Yeah.
Right, I would be like,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
When I was saying earlier, I don't like the way Ben O'Keefe referees. Can you guess why? Because I felt like he's hard done us a few times. So it's so Ben O'Keefe, somewhere in the back of my subconscious, garage is sat there going, you remember that time I fucked you?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying though. And there was that guy, Australia, Scotland, where he had to, I think it was a French ref, and he had to run home through the car park because Scotland were going to murder him.
What was his name? Fuck.
The poor guy.
Renault. Oh, fuck. He just retired recently.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh, fuck. I forget his name.
Craig Joubert? Is it Craig Joubert?
No. Oh.
I think it's Craig Joubert.
Yeah. I just remember him just
It is. It's Craig Joubert. Yeah. Yeah.
The best was Greg Laidlaw's face.
Yeah.
In the interview.
Yeah.
After the game, the reporter's trying to ask him questions, and you could see the amount of shock of what the fuck just happened. He was speechless.
It's
he's
someone slapped his kid, right?
Yeah, he was just
what the fuck was that?
He was just so.
He was confused, wasn't he? He was confused.
He was still mentally trying to wrap around what the fuck just happened.
Yeah.
How they lost that game.
Yeah.
And, fuck. But yeah, I'm just gonna say that Agnes Gardner doesn't have anything against Ireland.
No, of course he doesn't.
He doesn't.
No.
Ben O'Keefe doesn't have anything against, because these refs guys they're so obsessed with their reffing.
Yeah.
They're on their own team.
That's what I was gonna say. They're team ref.
Yeah.
They don't care about other countries.
And reffing is like a cult.
It is.
When you go into the deep dive of the world, they're a cult. They are fucking all.
Well, they have to have each other's backs, though, don't they? They have to,
because they are on their own team. They are playing a game against the players.
They're playing against two teams and the crowd and the other crowd.
Yeah, that's
the media.
Team, that's the team they're fighting against.
Because they know you could have the best refereeing thing ever, and some little cunt is still going to try and murder your wife on Twitter, right? So yeah, they do have a rough time, and I totally agree. I do not think any ref in the world is biased against anyone. As much as it's funny to joke about them hating England, I don't believe that. But again, it's cliche. We want consistency.
Yeah, it is a little inconsistent. That's just a problem.
And I think both in the Wales-Scotland game and the France-Ireland game, I think the winner was the deserved winner. So I don't think the referee changed the outcome of the game.
No. If you take away, the only thing is that Kelvin Nash card, but there was still a card there with Robbie Henshaw.
Yeah.
So you can't take it. If it was just Kelvin Nash in that tackle, I would say that would be a big factor. Unfair for Ireland. That would have been a big factor of that game. Yeah. Just because the amount of points that France got after that. But they were just so good. France were just they just picked up they pulled themselves up by the bootstraps and they just went, they just went with it.
The scary thing is, wait 10 years and France already have an insanely good academy system. 3 now, nearly 3 professional, and not 4 teams.
No.
Like Wales and Ireland and, 2 for Scotland. They will have close to 30 professional teams.
Yeah.
No one else is close to that. This is getting into we're never going to beat these cunts again territory,
It's getting to that point, especially the money in the top 14.
Yeah.
So you just have the French players are just playing against the best.
Yeah.
Because they're buying the best players from everywhere else.
Yeah.
The thing that the only worrying thing is I don't know the rules in the top 14, but how are they protecting the French players?
They're not.
Because
they're not.
A good example of this is the English Prem Football League.
Yeah.
Like how they're all foreign players.
Yeah, basically, yeah, pretty much.
And there's no like fucking English players playing.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, the stars certainly aren't English in most of those teams.
No.
Yeah.
So like and like I think it's less and less English players in like the top.
Yeah, been that way forever as well.
Yeah,
yeah.
And then you can see why, and they're like, "Oh, we haven't won," because I think the last time they won a soccer World Cup is like what 1965 or
Something
shit.
like that. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, because none of your players are being picked to play. Like, there's no development. Like, you're not developing these players.
No, you're not.
So that's the only negative thing I can see of France. Like, if they get to a point where, like, yeah, we have 3 professional teams full of players that are qualified for, or playing.
But when you have,
there aren't French.
But when you have, they don't have. Yeah, that maybe there's 4 teams in the French in an imaginary fantasy world. Imagine there's 4 teams in the top 14 that are entirely Fijians and Tongans and Kiwis and South Africans. They still have 7, 8, 9 teams absolutely stacked with incredible French players, like Toulouse. They still have Bordeaux. They still have very good French players in those teams. Yeah, the stars are still French, right?
They're still coming out. Yeah, the stars are French still.
Yeah, that's the big difference.
And the stars in the top 14 are French.
Right.
Not just in some clubs.
No.
Like if you look at the stars of the league.
Yeah.
The majority of them are French players.
Right. It's not like in Wales where we have to go over to another country to bring our star. We don't have to bring Gareth Anscombe over from Gloucester.
Yeah.
Like Dupont, Ntamak, Penaud, BLBRA, they play in France for very good French teams, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's good.
And, like, they have, like, the French, too. They have a very deep, extensive rugby human trafficking program. Like, these guys are, like...
They have private
kids
Pacific Islands. Yeah. They do, yeah.
Or in South Africa.
Yeah.
Like, they got people, like, just trafficking rugby
They got
kids.
big game hunters out in Africa in jeeps going, look at the size of that South African. Get my tranquilizer gun.
Child. Do you want to have money, child?
Yeah, I'll bring my tranquilizer.
Yeah, tranquilizer. Just tranks them.
So France are becoming they're not a sleeping giant anymore.
I would say they haven't been a sleeping giant for a few years now.
I remember though, was it last year or the year before, France-Ireland, it was billed as the game of the tournament. It was early in the tournament, might be the first game. And France just fell apart. Like Ireland ripped them to pieces. And France looked knackered, right? They just looked tired. So I do think the only weakness they have now is that their league is attritional, right? Dupont's just ripped his ACL. Toulouse are going to be like, you better fucking be playing tomorrow, mate. Like, we're paying you a lot of money. My ACL, don't get on the fucking field, you lazy cunt.
Yeah,
like,
tape him up and get him back out there.
Seriously.
Yeah, they're relentless too.
So that's the only thing we've got as in the URC against them is we do protect our players a bit better.
The money gets so big. The money gets so big in the top 14 that it just becomes unrealistic for the French Rugby Union to pull those players into a Six Nations.
To pick the best
players.
Because
now the insurance and the pay is so high.
Yeah.
The risk is so high. They just can't afford to have a Dupont injured on their hands.
It does make me wonder if Toulouse have some kind of injury insurance on Dupont getting injured.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
They do, hands down, right?
Yeah.
They do now, right? And it's still at a manageable price. 'Cause Dupont's not making like a crazy amount of money.
Not comparatively,
no.
Yeah.
He's like not. He's in the top like 20 or 30 of highest paid players. He's not in the top 5, which you think he would be, or the highest paid player.
Yeah. But
definitely, right now the pay for these players is in an area where these unions can afford to bring them in. But the top 14 could get to a place where there's so much money going into these players that it's just unreasonable to pull these professional players, and then you'll be having the French team will just be a team of amateurs.
That kind of is what happens with their summer tours, right? Because people go, look at France, aren't they smart, sending young developmental tours? But behind the scenes, it's like Toulouse are not going to give you Dupont to go on a summer tour.
No.
Right? They would rather be like, wrap him in cotton wool, we need him for the top 14. Yeah. So it seems smart, but there is some shenanigans going on there.
Because there was a little bit of a... before Geltier came on the board, he had a lot of issues getting access to his players.
He did.
And they came up with an agreement a couple years ago, I think. I think it was right before the World Cup where they're like, hey, you know what? We're going to give you more access to your players.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I can't win games. I can't develop a team with such little time.
Yeah.
Right? Because all the clubs don't want these players there.
No, they don't.
Right? These owners don't want their stars that they're paying big money for going to France to play for France and then getting injured.
We suffered that in Wales for a long time because we'd have guys playing in the English Prem, and they would get hired by English Prem clubs on the basis that they would cover during those non-international window periods. So we would have a lot of Welsh guys who weren't available to come to the Wales camp because they willingly, knowingly play for a system where they're like, yeah, we've actually picked you so you can cover those spots in international windows, right?
In both of those follow weeks with Wales, all those Prem guys had to go back to their clubs.
Exactly. So we see it. We're used to that in Wales, right? Yeah. And it is what it is. Like, I'm not complaining about it. But in France, they have that internally a little bit. I do think the saving grace, though, is like France and rugby generally knows the value of the international game. If you look at the NHL, where they do not let, until this year, the best players play for Canada because they're too valuable for their clubs and they paid them a lot of fucking money. Like, at least we don't see that because at least in rugby we know the international is the peak of our game.
Yeah,
and we have pride in it, right?
That's the one saving grace, like because you will see a drop in interest.
Yeah,
like if France weren't as good as they are,
yeah,
you would see a drop in interest.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that happened in Wales. I think that's why we've lost some. Who knows? Maybe if Wales were winning Grand Slams, maybe Faye Waboso goes, actually, I wouldn't mind playing for Wales. Like,
I
they're pretty good.
guarantee you, there's two players, Faye Waboso and
Louis Rees-Zammit.
Yep.
Kepu Tuipulotu, that New England under 18
that's a big thing too.
Yeah, who knows? Like, if we had more prestige.
I think, that his last name's Tuipulotu also.
Yeah.
I bet you if you saw the progress being made now after he made all his decisions, he's probably like, fuck,
It's not too late. He still hasn't played for senior level, so it's not too late.
Yeah, it's true. Because he's in the under 20 squad right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and he's good. But anyway, whatever. That's another story. But yeah, I think France are here to stay. Ireland, I feel like missed opportunity. There was so much history on this side yesterday. Like, I was kind of gutted. It just shows how hard it is to have a fairy tale ending to a career. Yeah. Oh, mate, I'll tell you.
You cannot. Like, it's so, like, it's brutal. Not a lot of athletes get to go out on top.
Remember George North loses to Italy at home and goes off in crutches. It was heartbreaking. His last ever. And Cian Healy, at least he came on, got a try. Yeah. It was too late. It didn't matter for the outcome of the game. He got a try. It was nice. But you got to think of Marnie getting subbed off relatively early after getting pushed off the ball, leading to a French try, and him being just angry. And then he tackled someone with his head at some point, and everyone's put this picture of him on social media going, not how you tackle someone. And it was a charge down, but it just felt like for a guy who's he's bled buckets for Ireland, it felt like a shitty way to finish your international career.
Yeah, I really wanted, like, when those three were retiring and the Grand Slam, I was like, this will be really nice. This will be really nice when this happened. France were like, no, fuck you.
But it's like we were saying about the 20-minute Reds last week. This is not a movie. You don't write the script for this, right? It's sport.
It's so hard. Like, it's very hard to go on top. There's very few athletes, especially in rugby.
Yeah.
A few athletes that I felt that were able to go on top were, Richie McCaw,
Dan Carter, Richie McCaw, Sonny Bill Williams. They all won the World Cup, wandered off into the sunset with their gold medals, right? It was nice.
Yeah.
Very few guys get that.
Yeah. So you get it's really hard.
Yeah, it is.
Especially, you see that a lot in MMA too. A lot of players.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of fighters.
They just go out bleeding, concussed, and unconscious.
Yeah. They're just that's what happens. They just start getting their asses kicked over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And then they just don't know when to call it quits
because they want one last hurrah. Yeah.
Georges St. Pierre, one of few fighters that have gone out on top.
He actually went out.
Smart.
He went out in a good way, didn't he?
He knew it was time. Because he had a last fight with a guy named Johnny Hendricks, something like that.
Yeah.
And he could have easily, like, the judges could have gave that to Hendricks.
Yeah.
He wanted. He knew it was time. He's like, I gotta step away.
Yeah.
Like, and he did. And I thought it was smart of him. But yeah. Just sad.
Gotta know when to fold.
Yeah, that's what you gotta do. But let's talk about an actual robbery. Let's talk about an actual rugby crime.
The great highway robbery in Edinburgh.
Yeah, I want to talk.
You're saying this, by the way. I'm a bit more comfortable with the result.
No, we're going to say this. This was fucking highway robbery.
Explain.
Wales and Scotland.
Yeah.
The robbery of robberies. This was legit a robbery. You don't think it was? You're gonna try to be politically correct here. That's what you're gonna do.
No, I genuinely feel.
I just want to feel like.
I just really feel like
I think we should
Scotland
all
deserve to win
just
there.
get together in this and really we
need to get around the table and talk about it.
If we get into a sharing circle and really hash this out, no, it was a robbery.
I don't feel that way.
Yes, you do.
I feel like I was saying to you at the time.
Could have won that game.
I feel like who knows the game that who knows we didn't deserve. I'm saying this not to compliment Scotland, but to denigrate on Wales a bit. We were shite for about 30 minutes. We let Scotland fucking pull our pants down and smack us over the bottoms for about 30 minutes.
Oh, it was kind of shocking. Yeah.
You even were fucking. You were on Twitter by halftime. This is shite. You were even going, "Fuck's sake, Wales!" Like you had lost interest.
They literally They let Scotland do whatever they want.
We unlocked the farm gate and let them fucking herd sheep through a massive hole in our defense. Like it was embarrassing.
It was a little shocking, wasn't it? Because I was just like, they just fucking Wales just laid down on their bed, spread their legs and just
opened their bum holes.
The French team just ran a train on them for
it was the Scots,
almost the whole game.
It felt like that's what I'm saying. It's like as good as we were in the last sort of half an hour, we'd already lost that game. You know,
the territory in this game was fucking 65% Scotland.
Yeah, and you've got to say that Scottish backline is, even without Tuipulotu, fucking unreal.
Yeah,
and another thing I want to say in Scotland's defense, when Finn Russell came off, the drop in terms of Scotland's attack was noticeable. Mm-hmm. We got better when Finn Russell came off that field. You know,
yeah, that's true.
And it's good in a way, because last week I was saying Finn Russell maybe played himself out of a Lions jersey. He convinced me that he was pretty fucking good again yesterday. You know, very good kicking and just distributing and giving his players time on the ball. You know, so I don't want to take away, but do tell me about the robbery though. Tell me what was up with that.
What's his name?
Blair Murray?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and what a find that guy is. He is class. What a replacement for Liam Williams. Fair play.
That hurdle penalty that he did, jumping out of that tackle.
Yeah. It was a good try as well. It was probably the best try Wales have scored in 56 years.
Yeah, and it gave them enough time to score.
Yeah, we still had probably 5 good minutes.
Tie it up and then try to make fight back.
And we did score another try, by the way. Yeah. So
it just that was a killer.
It hurt. It did hurt. I'm not gonna lie.
That ref was like, "What? Okay, no, we're gonna take it back and we're gonna give the ball back to."
Yeah. I'm hearing that your jersey was untucked and your shoelaces were untied, so unfortunately we can't give it to you.
How can you not say that was a robbery?
Rule of cool. That
Especially
was a try.
All the fucking work that Wales did to get back into that game.
Yeah.
And just for the ref to be like, no.
Yeah. We were little edging that
Here's
could
some
all the way
odd
there.
thing I'm going to call.
Okay, on one hand, I'm fucked off.
Yes.
On another hand, on one hand, I understand the ruling. You cannot jump into a fucking tackle.
He didn't jump into a tackle. He jumped out of a tackle.
On the other hand, I've seen that a million times since you and I watched the fucking game this morning. It happens so fucking often. Yeah. And I get a big old, hurdling over the fucking hurdles in a sprinting race. It looks different to a little jump.
Yeah, he's jumping out of a tackle.
But it's a kind of a sideways jump away from a guy. I understand you could knee someone in the fucking head as they're getting low to tackle you. It is dangerous. And diving for a try is a very different kettle of fish. In fact, in the ruling, says you're allowed to dive.
Yeah.
Because you want to... I understand the difference, right? But again, it's consistency. That's what the point I want to make is. I've seen that happen a million fucking times, and that's the time you call it. An absolutely pivotal momentum shift in a game.
Let's call this thing we never call.
Yeah.
He'd even jump. It's like if he would have jumped over him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like NFL style, I get it. Yeah.
But he jumped he jumped out of a tackle.
Yeah.
And he got it because he was getting his feet because he was got wrapped around his feet. So he hopped out of the way of it. And I was like, this is not a thing.
In the NFL, and they do that, they see a guy in front of him, he's lined up for tackle, and they do a big old running jump right over him, and it embarrasses him. And I was like, oh, he made you a little bitch. It wasn't that. It was not even close to that. So that's...
That headline that you saw from that article, what was it again? It was...
it was something from The Sun, and it was Wales denied winning chance because of denying them the coolest moment in sports.
Yeah.
Or sports is losing its personality.
Buddy does a cool thing.
Yeah.
And game ruined. Yeah, Why are we punishing that? Why are we punishing that like crazy athleticism?
If we're punishing that, we just have to punish all of that, and we're not punishing all of that.
Just, like, what is rugby doing? Like, that was cool as shit.
It was cool
and
as
you're
shit.
gonna be like,
so cool.
You're like, no.
Yeah.
No. Like, why would you?
Yeah.
Like, don't hand out hand jobs and just finish before you're gonna finish. Like, finish the job. Like, why are you gonna stop it there? Like, no, we're done.
This is where those rugby league people, not that they have a point, but like we do ruin our cool moments in rugby union a lot, don't we?
Yeah, because what is the holdback? Like, it's just.
It's a very gentlemanly bullshit. You know what though? Like I don't disagree with it. I just want to see if you're gonna fucking call that. Call every other one of those. Call when you roll the ball into the scrum straight. Like, you have to. I just want consistency. I just want to not talk about a referee during a game, you know?
I love the faces
but we weren't robbed.
Of the Scottish team at the bench.
They were shitting themselves.
Because as this game is just melting away from them, their faces were just like, oh my God.
Yeah. And it says something else about Scotland, right? Like, all these people asking for Gregor Townsend, he has to go. That wasn't a convincing performance, even though they won. It felt like another Welsh win. It feels like we were 2 on the bounce now, despite not fucking winning a game. Yeah, it's bizarre. You know, we were the moral victors of 2 games of rugby.
You were literally Wales were the moral victor of this game,
and the last game in a way against Ireland. I felt I've come away from both games feeling like there's hope. We feel like we won that in some kind of way.
Because the last game you did way better than you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You took Ireland to the edge.
Yeah. Couple of key moments just didn't go away. Whatever. Yep. Good game management by Ireland.
Like in this game with Scotland, like the ref got in the way. The ref protected Scotland a little bit.
If only we hadn't given away 30 points before we decided to play rugby.
Yeah.
You know, like
yeah, that's the main factor too.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't like let the floodgates open at the beginning,
but it's a massive fucking if, isn't it? Just like the massive holes in our defense. You know.
Yeah, that would have been. That was just the insane amount of points.
Yeah.
That Wales let Scotland
get ridiculous. It was a humping, and I was almost thinking, like, was the Matt Sherratt miracle just a blip in the road?
It was very Kiwi, like a New Zealand type game, right? Because you know how like New Zealand will just like fucking open someone up at the beginning,
yeah,
and then they
just run out of gas,
and then they just survive for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
but they already put 40 points on you,
so they're comfortable.
Yeah, they put 40 points on you in the first 10 minutes of the fucking game.
Yeah.
And
they don't have to play rugby anymore.
They don't.
No.
They just have to like maintain.
Yeah.
Right? And they do like run out of gas. They're notorious for that. But that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, you don't let a team rack up this much. Like, oh,
no.
What a bad start. Like, just there's always something that has to happen with Wales right now. Like everything is going so good.
We're like a teenager right now. We're having hormonal changes. You know, our voice is dropping, our balls are swinging everywhere. We've got horrible acne. So look at the state of that thing, but it's going to grow into a beautiful swan.
Waking up with wet dreams. Like everything's happening.
Fucking spunk to bed. Like,
like
I spunked to bed for the first 30 minutes against Scotland.
Yeah,
but now
I gotta clean this up.
Yeah, I'm gonna go put the sheets in the washing machine. But like I'm still happy though. I still see. We scored some amazing tries. We got 2 bonus points from that game. We got a losing bonus point and a try bonus point. Weirdly, we could finish higher than Italy without winning a game in the Six Nations. I don't want that. Wooden spoon goes to the guy who loses all the fucking games as far as I'm concerned. Mm-hmm. But we're seeing stuff that we've not seen from Wales in a long time. We're seeing stuff we wouldn't see under Gatland. We said that game was going to be close with a lot of tries. It was exactly that. Yeah. The tries just came at opposite ends of the fucking game, didn't they?
Yeah.
You know,
because the momentum for the teams like shifted.
It did
at a certain point in the game.
It was dramatic on both sides,
especially
wasn't
the second half. Because the second they got Scotland got all their points in the first half. I think they got 1 try in the second half.
Yeah, they did.
I think so.
I think that's right.
And the whole game shifted.
It did. And I think
what happened to Scotland?
Honestly, Finn Russell coming off, and like I've said a million times, like I was trying to say just now. Gregor Townsend is not your problem. You just, unfortunately, do not have a lot of depth in Scotland, right? Your bench is not as good as your starting 15. It really is as simple as that. And I feel like
they almost scored. They would have scored 5 tries. Like Wales would have scored 5 tries in the second half.
Yeah, and I hope this doesn't sound arrogant, but our ceiling is higher than Scotland's. We have 4 professional teams, a lot more registered rugby players, and rugby is a bigger sport in Wales. Mm-hmm. It really is as simple as that. We can produce a lot more rugby players. Scotland have been really smart with the way they've condensed their resources and the way they've got a couple of project players. And I'm not going after the mercenary bullshit. I don't fucking care about that. But they have got They use their money in a very smart way. They use their resources smartly. That's how Glasgow do so well.
That's how they make up for their lack of development.
Right. They're maximizing their potential, but unfortunately, if you've got two professional teams in a country which is much more concerned with football than rugby, you're not going to produce as many rugby players.
Your back's against the wall.
Right.
More.
They're doing as good as they can, and I really don't mean that in a negative way. Like, Scotland's backline is fucking sexy, right? If they had Tuipulotu, I think they'd have beaten England. You know, that was a close fucking. If Finn Russell was a bit more consistent, they'd have beaten England. He'd have kicked some fucking points, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think they're far away from being better than they are, but their ceiling is still lower than ours is. You know, I think. But I'm still, you know, I don't think we're robbed. I'm still hopeful.
Robbed.
Whatever.
Definitely robbed.
We had 2 moral victories. I'm excited for our next moral victory against England. You know, we'll lose by a point.
What is going to happen in this game?
Oh, it's going to be mental.
What kind of fucking crazy?
Yeah, it's going to be mental.
Hold on here. Just TMO's in my ear.
Yeah.
What's that? Okay, yeah, we're going to delete 2 Welsh tries, please. That puts England ahead. It's 81 minutes here.
Yeah, and that's the game. I loved in that Scotland-Wales game. Like, we were hammering their line, 80th minute. Scotland get a turnover. I can't remember. I think it might have been Schumann. One of the props just kicks the ball off the field and is like, I'm fucking done with this. And the referee goes, beep, beep, beep. I don't think so, Scotland.
Yeah, right.
We've got time for one more. Yeah. You didn't say the magic word. I can't wait for that shenanigans next week against England.
Because it was kind of like a movie moment.
No. And it was too late anyway, but it was just the look on that Scottish guy's face was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like,
super duper Saturday next weekend. 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
We got the first one, Italy-Ireland. That's gonna be a wash-off game.
Ireland do need to rack up some points, though. They
do.
really
if
do.
they want to try to win this tournament, still
they have to win.
It has to be like 100-0.
They have to get at least 4 tries. They've got to score a lot of points if they want to win the Six Nations.
The standings right now: France 16, 15 for England, 14 for Ireland. So it's gonna be very tough for Ireland to win this game.
I do think they need France to lose or draw.
They would need France to lose. They need basically France or England both to lose.
I think if Ireland win with a bonus point.
Can Scotland and Wales pull a biggie for Ireland here?
Never before has an Irishman cheered so hard for an Englishman. You're going to see it next weekend.
Never so hard? What?
Well, because... No, wait.
You said that wrong.
I did say that wrong because we're playing England. No, they'll cheer for us. They're good at that.
The Irish are going to be cheering for the Wales hard.
Very much so. Yeah.
And they're going to be cheering for Scotland hard.
It's Celtic Brothers. The Celtic Brothers, the band's back together.
Yeah, if a Celtic team wants to win this Six Nations, they have to band
well,
together.
Well, look who comes crawling back when they need us.
Hey,
Because of our old cousins, the Irish.
Hey,
looks
buddy.
like you're calling in a favor.
Did you get your hair cut?
What did you call me? Only gay in the village? Yeah, fuck off. Would you call me sheepshagger? Nah.
That cum rag joke was it's just a joke.
Very funny gay liquor.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah.
Can you really pull us some solid here?
Yeah. What's that on the ball? You could beat us with 13 men? Like, maybe we lose to England today then. Maybe we're not as good as you think we are. I don't know. It's funny.
There's gonna be some surprises.
This is why when we started recording and you're like the Six Nations is over, I'm sad. This is why Super Saturday's exciting because now everyone's doing drunk maths.
I feel like
on
if
the fly.
Ireland win the Six Nations, though, it's just not gonna. It's gonna be like, eh.
It's a bit of an empty.
It's an empty one. The Grand Slam was there. Everything was there for the Grand Slam, and
they were the chosen ones this year, weren't they? For the Grand Slam, yeah.
This time it's a little bit. This year is a little bit easier because France just like fucking like ass pounded Ireland. So I was like, okay. Last year when they lost to England, I was pissed because Ireland had that game, and they just lost. It
was tight, wasn't it?
And they just lost it. They handed it over to England, and I fucking really pissed me off. Yeah, Caelan Doris and Ian Henderson
with their hands in the ruck
were just like just fucking
making
machines.
cakes over in the ruck, kneading the dough with their hands. Yeah,
and I was just so pissed at that. I was like, you guys didn't need to lose that game. This one with France, they weren't going to win this game.
That was a blue tidal wave, wasn't it?
Like you had to really come on it. There was just like a clearly better team this game.
Yeah.
It was impressive.
It was. Yeah. It was scary France.
Wales, England. Who do you think is going to win this game? Come on.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something really similar to that Scotland-Wales game. Like, I think, I think England are going to, like, come out flying.
Come on.
Build up a healthy lead, and then we'll come back in.
Come on.
Be moral victors.
There
no, I
we
think
go.
England are going to win. I do.
No,
Yeah, I do
hard. I'm calling Wales to win this game by 5 points.
That's why I like you, because you give me hope.
Yeah, Wales are. This is it. This is the build-up. This is the final. Like 2 weeks in a row. These teams are like this team. This is it.
No one beats Wales 15 times in a row.
They had a shitty start.
Yeah.
And we thought, oh, this is gonna be the same old Wales, but like they're like, no, fuck this.
Yeah.
And they came out and they
moral victories, baby.
They should have won. This is the moral slam.
The moral slam.
Yeah.
I love it.
They didn't win anything, but they got the moral grand slam here.
On the podium, and we have the honorary award. You know in the Oscars where they do that award for the guy who's died? Like this year we're remembering Wales. Remember Wales.
They were just so good.
Remember their defense.
Yeah, no, I think Wales will win this game. Wales are going to win this game.
Love it.
It's in Wales.
I know that.
So the English bus is going to come into town.
We're going to pelt it with bricks as we normally do. We're going to piss on the tires. Yeah. Put our willies up the exhaust, but look at me fucking the England bus. Like, having a good time.
I swear to God, when I watch this game, I better not see fucking Ben Earl just cheering the shit out of every shitty thing.
If we knock on the ball and then he's screaming victory and then we just pick it up, tap and go and score, and he's like, oh, I wasn't paying attention. I was just cheering how shit you were.
Yeah, I think this is
a spicy game now, isn't it? This is why Super Saturday's great. It's a spicy game now.
France, Scotland.
France could shit the bed. They do still have bed-shitting tendencies, but
Scotland have to come. Have not. There's been something that's not been spectacular about Scotland.
Yeah, it's their bench. It's not that strong.
Yeah, I think in France, it's in fucking Paris, dude.
Because if Scotland have a sexy backline, fucking France have the most gorgeous backline of any.
It's all supermodels.
It's
all Sports Illustrated models.
Yeah.
Like they.
Scotland have girl next door backline vibes.
Yeah.
France a porn star backline.
You know, they're hot, but homely hot. You know.
Yeah. No, this is some. She
doesn't need that much makeup.
Boob job. Backline going on in France right now.
This is it. This is the big leagues here.
Yeah.
I think,
Scotland. I think I like to dream that France could shit the bed because I am a low-key Scottish fan.
I can even see them racking up some points on Scotland too.
I could see them hurting them, especially in the second half.
I'm going to call a big win by France.
Yeah, the True Blues.
And the True Blues winning the Six Nations title.
I think so. It's hard to see past that.
And that would conclude the Six Nations of 2025.
Yeah.
The saddest. The most surprising Six Nations I've seen in a long time.
Moral victories. I'll take them. Eat them up.
Well, Frank, do you have any other topics or anything you want to talk about?
Super Rugby's a bit mental.
Super Rugby is mental.
Yeah. Super Rugby, those results, guys.
The points.
Get the tackle bags out, guys.
I think it was recent where they've racked up the most points ever. In the start of a season or something. They're already at some insane amount of points on the board.
Yeah.
God, they're loving it down there.
Well, the Aussies are having a bit of a fight back, and we need the Aussies to be strong. Yeah. I want a good Lions tour, and I want a good Australia generally.
And Wana Pacifica got some big wins over the
They did
Canes
get some big wins, and the Chiefs, I think, right?
The Chiefs, yes.
Yeah. That's significant. That's a big deal.
You could already see Moana Pacifica, Artis Savea, just he's picking that team.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
I think he's not carrying the team, but that he's bringing a motivation there.
I was going to say it is. Rugby's a big team game, but it is crazy how much of a difference one really good player can make to a team because they don't just play well. Exactly. Experienced leadership, raising everyone's belief. If a guy is on my team and I know he's good, I'm playing better for him, right?
Yeah.
Makes a difference.
Yeah, when he's raising the standards, he just, and Artis Savea, anyone's going to follow that guy into battle.
100%. Yeah.
Because he's always the hardest working guy on the team.
Yeah.
In fact, without Artis Savea, on the All Blacks, there's a lot of games they would have lost because there's been a lot of games where he himself has turned the game around.
He's the Kiwi Tyke Burn. He's the game changer.
Yeah,
he just turns things around for you.
Just having him on any team, you'd have him on any team.
You 100% would.
Yeah.
No, this is controversial. That World Cup quarter 2023 Ireland, New Zealand. Without Savea, I think Ireland would have just edged it. I think they would have eventually battered that door down and got something, even so.
And then there came in Savea.
In came Adi Savea.
He's like, fuck you.
No, I don't fucking think so.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the speed of Super Rugby, especially now, is insane.
I just can't tell if this is bad defending or very good attack. I just don't know.
I think it's both.
Yeah, maybe.
Because you see a lot of tries that wouldn't happen in Northern Hemisphere at all.
Well, they're allowed to hurdle people. We're not allowed to do that.
They're allowed to do cool shit.
They're allowed to do cool shit. Yeah, they've got the cool toys.
Yeah,
they've got the newest Super Soaker and Pokemon cards. I'm stuck here with my hand-me-down fucking Lego in Wales. Like, fuck you.
And they play this basically defenseless rugby.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it, mate.
Just backflipping over people.
Yeah. And
doing wall runs on the advertisement boards, like.
I
bullshit.
keep saying this is gonna hurt you guys. This is gonna hurt you. But then the All Blacks play.
We're always wrong.
And they fucking defend with their lives. Like, so.
Yeah.
I guess good on them.
Bastards for having high skill levels, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. I think I'm done talking.
I think we talked about everything we're going to talk about.
Very nice.
I gotta go take some meds. Worry about my.
You look
drug.
a bit sleepy. You look tired.
I'm just kind of keeping it alive here.
Okay, well, don't worry. We can stop talking.
All right, friends. Thank you for listening to the Friends of Rugby podcast. Like and share the podcast. You can email us at the Friends of Rugby pod at gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube, anywhere you get your podcasts. We'll be there hanging out in the dark corners of the podcast web.
Making up things, conspiracies, rumors.
Talking bullshit. Have a good one, folks.